a little bad.
No, say it, bro.
You have to be unhappy with yourself to a degree in order to change, or you have to want something more.
In order to
you
improve.
have to want it enough.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Like one of my friends was texting me the other day because I recently posted something on my story because I'm about 64 pounds down.
That's awesome, bro.
So we're gonna call 280. That's just the last time I measured it, and I don't want to like start lying saying, "Oh, it was 290." I could have been, but I don't know.
Right.
So I was at about 280, and I recently posted something on my story, some before and afters of when I was 280, and now I'm about 216.
Yeah.
Right. And my friend was like, "Bro, you're such an inspiration. You know, I've been in and out of the gym." He's like, "You know, how do you stay motivated?" And I was like, "You just have to want it enough."
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Human beings are simple creatures. You just have to want it.
Yeah.
If you don't want it, then you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
I gotta talk about this because this is a point where I know that a lot of people struggle with this. And here's what it is: you have to have a different mindset.
Mm-hmm.
You have to. It's like I could talk about wanting this thing, or wanting to go this far in life, or wanting this specific car, or wanting this specific job, or wanting whatever it may be in your life. But the thing is that your mindset has to shift. If your mindset is more of just like well, I got 50% of the way, and you know what? I'm fine with that. Mm-hmm. If you're fine with that, that's where you're going to stay.
Yeah,
that's where you're going to stay. You're not going to bump up in your status or your health or your weight loss journey or striving to get that other position or whatever it may be. It's like, look, you have to put on a hungry mindset. You have to be hungry for it. You have to want it. This is kind of stupid, but I always think about, you watch the old Rocky movies? You ever watch those?
Yeah, I've never seen a Rocky movie.
You need to watch them because it's literally like the whole entire thing is about, Rocky was really broke, came from a terrible neighborhood, and then he has millions and millions of dollars, and he becomes the world champion, and he defeats Apollo Creed.
Okay.
It's like for everybody that's watched this, Apollo Creed was like the Muhammad Ali in the movie. He was charismatic, he had good charisma, and everybody loved him.
Yeah.
And he was no doubt the best fighter. But it was Rocky's heart, fire, desire to go and at least try to win. At least try to win.
That's a sermon.
He had a champion's mindset. He didn't have like a sparring match mindset. He had a champion's mindset. I'm going to go in and I'm going to win.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do it. And that's what you have to do. You have to want to win. If you don't, and it doesn't mean it's going to be easy, it doesn't mean it's going to feel good either. Does going to the gym feel good? Now, I know some people might be like, oh yeah, I love after I get on a running high and stuff. I hate running, bro. I don't like it. But
I was about to say, I actually really enjoy exercise.
So here's the thing. And some people might actually genuinely enjoy the gym. I know that for a large majority percentage of people, and this may be the people that don't have like that gym mindset. They go to the gym and they're like, this sucks.
Yeah.
My attention span's off. I can't focus. Like, I'm not seeing any improvements. I've talked to so many people where this is what they say. They're like, I'm not seeing any improvements. I'm not seeing any improvements. And it's like, how much do you want it though? How much do you want it? I asked them the question. It's like, well, I do. I said, that's the problem though. See, you can immediately tell when somebody really wants it because they will do anything, almost close to pretty much anything. They'll do research like you did. They'll go dedicate themselves in the gym and outside of the gym too. They'll have a healthy relationship with food. They'll test the boundaries of like, okay, here's my calorie count. I'm going to try cutting this, and see how my body reacts to that. The people that will do anything will go the farthest.
Yeah.
They will. And they'll die trying. No, seriously, they'll die trying. That's a warrior's mindset. You have to have this warrior's mindset. And if you don't have that, how to get that is honestly I would say, look at a person that has that warrior's mindset. Look at what they're doing. Look at the way they talk. Look at the way that they hold
Ronnie
themselves.
Coleman.
Dude, seriously. like you just have to look at, and this is something that I would encourage everybody. It's like the reason why most people don't know my age is because they're like, how old are you? And I'm like, well, just guess. I've gotten anywhere from age range of like 20 to 28.
Jeez.
Which is crazy, guys. I'm not that old. I'm gonna be 22. But people always ask me.
Oh, so you're prehistoric.
Oh, right. like I'm pretty old, guys. No, I'm gonna be 22, and people are always shocked. They're like, that doesn't make any sense. The reason it doesn't make any sense is because I've made an effort to put on a different mindset. I'm going to surround myself with knowledge and warriors, spiritual warriors, and people just in the gym that have bettered themselves. And like, you have to seek after that. And if you don't want the next big thing for yourself, you're not going to get it. Nobody's going to hand it to you. Nobody's going to give you a slap in the back and be like, now here you go. Here's $1 million.
Yeah.
Here's negative 180 pounds of weight loss. So you have to go through the journey. The journey may suck and it may hurt and you may cry, you may throw up, and you may say, I feel sick. I don't want to do the bicycle kicks. I don't want to do this. It hurts. It hurts. Why can't I just go be content with myself? Oh, you sure can. You sure can be content with yourself. But you will be in that spot for the rest of your life.
I think a lot of it has to do with the virus of instant gratification within our society. Because so many things are just, I want it now, so I can have it now.
Yeah.
Right? I want something to eat. I can pull out the food that's been sitting in the fridge for 3 weeks. That's not good for me. Just pop it in the microwave and it's ready in a minute. Or, I want to go indulge myself in something I shouldn't be indulging myself in. It's a click away on my phone. It's a couple taps away.
Yes.
Versus it hardwires our brains to not understand the idea of delayed gratification.
Yeah.
And that's everything that improvement is.
Yeah.
Improvement is a delayed gratification. I'm not going to see the results of my workout today.
Right.
I'm going to see the results of my added weeks of exercise and calorie deficit a month from now.
Yeah.
2 months from now.
Yeah.
Like I say that I like working out now, but when I started, I didn't. I did not like it.
Yeah.
But because of my continued efforts, I've seen the results of what I can achieve by being patient and waiting on the results, right?
Yeah.
I think one of the best things I ever did for myself was I got rid of social media completely for
that's awesome.
3-4 months. And I just recently re-downloaded it, but I'm maybe on it like 30 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Just when I have like idle time, if I'm out, I'm like waiting to go into like the doctor's office or something, just like scrolling for a little bit.
Yeah.
But it totally rewires your brain to forget the benefits of delayed gratification. Yeah, and it's killer, man.
Dude.
Like one of the biggest things I think contributes to weight gain is this instant gratification, because if I'm hungry now, I'm just going to have whatever is fastest.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so many of those things are crappy processed foods, chips in the pantry, whatever I have within arm's reach.
Jack in the Box.
Jack in the Box, fast. It's the whole concept of fast food.
Yeah.
If I want it now, I can have it now.
Yeah.
But with the idea of delayed gratification, I know that I'm going to be hungry in 2 hours, so I'm going to start cooking in an hour so that I have food ready for me in 2 hours, so I can eat what I know will sustain my body. It'll have the right amount of protein, the right amount of fats, the right amount of carbs, so that I have the proper nutrition in a day to support the exercise that I'm doing and to achieve my goals. Versus I want it now, but I can't have it now.
Yeah.
It's killer.
It's definitely taken out a lot of people. Can we highlight on negativity real quick? Because this is huge, guys. Negativity is that thing in the back of your head that will keep you in the same place and beat you up even more. If your negativity is running your life, if it's genuinely running your life and all you do is listen to negative thoughts, this is another thing about negativity too that I think that people don't understand. And some people are going to hate me for saying this because I do believe in mental health, 100%. I have a best friend that went through a mental health episode. Okay, but here's the thing. Are you doing everything you possibly can to make sure you're not being in a space of negativity, loneliness, or depression, and all that stuff? And I understand there's some things you can't control. But this goes back to the things you can control. I remember when I was feeling really, really bad, about just even myself, and like I felt all like gloomy and like sad and stuff. And you know what I noticed is I hadn't been outside in weeks, like seriously, like weeks. And I was like, I made a podcast, and I remember one of the things I said was like, I was talking about this, and I was like, do you guys even go outside? Do you go, let the sun hit your skin and stuff? Man. And it's like, do you realize the natural, vitamins that you get, like everything that your body needs to operate properly when you go and step outside and get some sun, I would go outside, and I made an effort to do this for a solid month. And some people are going to, oh, that's not a long time. Let me just tell you the difference on my life. I would go outside, I'd stretch, take off my shirt, let the sun just hit me. And if you're like, it's hot, it's Arizona, suck it up. Go get some sun.
Go early in the morning.
Go early in the
morning. If you want
morning.
it bad enough, just wake up earlier.
Seriously, go in 5 o'clock in the morning or 5:30 when the sunrise or whatever it is. I'll tell you, I did that for a month. Nobody else knew this. I think my brother came outside. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, dude, I'm just literally getting some fresh air and sun. The difference that made on my life going into the rest of the day changed my mindset. I didn't have these like weird, like negative, like, you know, things that would pop in my head, or like I didn't feel like all lethargic and like walking around like, okay, guys, just another day. Let's get it going. I came in with some oomph, bro. I was like ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like simple adjustments, simple changes can change your life drastically.
Oh, yeah.
Like drastically. But we were highlighting on negativity because, I mean, if, you know, I've said this before and I'll say it again, if you leave yourself in a place to experience some of these things, a lot of times they'll find you in that place. Why leave yourself in the place to experience that? It's like, I know you wanted to touch on like purity and stuff too. It's like, if you know you struggle with something, why would you put yourself in the situation to do it again or to fall into the same cycle? You got to break out of it.
Yeah, I was actually listening to a sermon on the way here. I forget the pastor's name, but he's the pastor for Life Church, the church that made the YouVersion Bible app.
Yeah.
And he was like, my temptation may not be crazy right now, but why fight something in the future if I can prevent it now?
Yeah.
Like I can set up all these safeguards and safety rails now while I'm clear in mind.
Yeah.
So that in the future, when I'm struggling, when I'm weak, when I'm hungry, when I'm tired, when I'm angry, and I feel that temptation, then it's easier to fight it because of all the precautions that I set for myself when I was okay. And this doesn't just have to do with purity, but this has to do with everything in life, right?
Everything. It applies to everything.
If I know that I typically struggle with a negative mindset, why would I surround myself with negative people? Why? This is huge, man.
Right.
And it's hard because they're your friends, right? Yeah. You think you enjoy being around them, but
you enjoy surrounding yourself with the people that struggle with the same thing, because then you don't feel alone. You don't feel alone anymore. But that's huge. Like that's really dangerous.
If the people you're surrounding yourself are thinking and speaking negative thoughts, you're constantly surrounding yourself with negative thoughts. So you're going to think negative thoughts.
And you're like, why do I have negative thoughts? Why do I feel so depressed? It's like, well, take a look at your life, man. There might be a simpler solution than why this? Yeah.
You've got to be honest with yourself, and you've got to be willing to cut people and things out.
Yeah.
As much as you might enjoy them, you have to be willing to cut some things off.
Yeah.
There are pruning seasons in life where you have to honestly evaluate where you're at, and you have to be like, okay, I might really enjoy hanging out with this group of people, but they're not good for me. They're not healthy for me.
Yeah.
And as much as it might suck to literally go up to your friend group that you might hang out with every week and be like, hey guys, I love you, but you're just not good for me. And then just cutting it off. That's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people want to do it. No one really wants to do it.
Right.
But I think acknowledging the difference between what you want and what you need is the first step to improving in anything. Right. So, and also on negativity, before I forget, I think that humans are insanely habitual creatures. As much as some people are like, oh, I hate habits, I hate routines, they're lying, dog. Every human to some degree needs habit and lives in habit. I think our thought processes, they're just habits. So if I'm so used to the first thing that comes to mind whenever a situation arises is the negativity in the situation, the worst outcome, what could go wrong.
Yeah.
And that's just what I'm going to keep thinking about because it's my go-to. It's my first thought.
Yeah.
Versus if that first thought comes along, I take that thought captive, as we're told to do, and I try to look for a positive light on it, positive outlook. I try to be like, okay, what's the best that could happen? I'm always looking at the worst that could happen. What's the best that could happen?
Yeah.
So I start changing my thought patterns to positivity. Eventually, my first reaction is going to be positivity. And I can vouch for this firsthand. I was always that dude that was like, man, this sucks. Like straight up, no matter what happens, this is going to suck.
Yeah.
But even if it's a situation that I don't want to be in, I've forced myself to start looking positively on everything.
Right.
And it's allowed me to, that's my first reaction.
Yeah.
Is okay, what can go right here? What are the good things that God can do in this situation, whether or not I want to be here? And it's all habitual, man.
Well, dude, that's the thing too. Is that's why I have in the MBT TikTok, especially in my bio or whatever it is, it says facts over feelings. If you are constantly run by feelings, if your life is run by feelings of I feel this way, I feel tired, I feel beat up, I feel depressed, I feel anxious all the time, I feel this, I feel that. Bro, stop. Seriously, stop. Of course you do. And I've talked to people where they're just like, well, you know what, Gabe? I just don't have your mindset. I'm not you. And I'm like, you're right. You're not me, because I understand what I'm doing. I understand the legacy that I want to leave behind. I understand the empowerment of just knowing what the generations before me have paved, so that way I could be here. So that way I could succeed. So that way, if I'm just failing, I'm literally dishonoring everybody that was from the past.
Yeah.
It's just like spitting on their grave and being like, I'm depressed, I'm anxious, I'm just going to sit in my room in the dark and hope that things get better. It's like, do you realize maybe the history of your life? And if that's some encouragement to you, if you need to understand the history of your life, I'd recommend going and getting that history.
Oh, yeah.
What bloodline do you come from?
It's super cool.
What does your last name mean? I'll tell you right now, we're warriors. This is what we do. We persevere. We don't quit. And yes, maybe there's some things that we did struggle with, as far as like with alcohol and drugs and heavy drug abuse and all that stuff. And it's like, but that doesn't own me. That's not who I am. People had went through it. I don't have to. I can choose the outcome. You really can choose the outcome. There's things you can't control, but there's things that you can control. Yeah. And I'd say 95% of the times, the things that you can control can change your outcome.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And I think one of my favorite things that's said at Pure Heart is it's okay not to be okay, but it's not okay to stay stuck.
Right.
Like it's okay to go through a bad season.
Yeah.
It's okay to have bad days. It's okay to go through a season of depression and acknowledge that this is what's happening right now. But it's not okay to stay stuck there. And that's where a lot of people stop. They're like, oh, it's okay not to be okay. End. Period.
No.
But if you're unhappy with where you are and you know you're in a bad spot, you have to do something to change where you're at.
Well, it means you got to deal with it. And it's like, what does it take to get treasure? You think about that? The process, the journey it takes to get treasure.
Well, I mean, it's like the story in the Bible. The man was in the field and he found this treasure chest in the middle of the field. And he went and sold all that he had to buy this field for the treasure.
Yeah.
Right. He did everything in his power. Now, it's not what the parable's about.
Right.
But he did everything in his power to have this treasure. He did every single thing that he could because he wanted it that badly.
If you really want something, it's more than just saying, I want it. It's doing it. It's doing everything you possibly can. It's filling yourself with knowledge. That's why this platform exists too, because I wanted to be able to give knowledge. It's knowledge that people will probably say, oh, this is nonsense. Oh my gosh, here's another podcast and all that stuff. It's like, actually listen. Listen to what we're saying. Our message has always been clear. It's always been clear from the very beginning. We started in a backyard.
Oh, I remember seeing the first episode. It was like just you and the other dude just sitting out there in the backyard.
We're in a backyard. And I said, we're going to do this no matter what. Because we want to make an impact. For self-gain? No, I gain nothing. Nothing from doing this besides giving you knowledge. Besides hoping that this impacts your life in some way. In an unorthodox way compared to what a lot of preachers have to go by, compared to what a lot of Christians even have to go by, what they feel that they have to go by. We can only spread love and grace, and that's all we're going to do. And leave the heavy stuff, leave that out of it. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And it's like, let me just tell you right now, I'm a worship leader. I lead at a church. I lead a congregation of people. They all know where I stand on things, politically and, all kinds of stuff. But they see my podcast. There's only been so many people, like maybe just a handful, barely, people are like, I really don't like the way you talk. And I'm like, okay,
Cool. Don't listen.
cool. Don't listen to it. Move on.
Yeah.
And they go, what? It's like, you think I'm really going to change what I'm doing because of the way you feel? Because
Yeah.
of the way you feel. That's not how the world works. If that's how your mindset is, you will be getting tossed around left and right.
Yep.
From your job. If you're trying to get a position and you're not, if you don't handle confrontation well,
Yep.
and I understand there's some people that struggle with confrontation, but if you can't handle confrontation well, when somebody gives you constructive criticism and you always take it as negative, you're not going to improve.
Yeah. I think I actually want to touch on that really, really quickly.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, how do I want to phrase this? I feel like, oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought. What were we just talking about?
We were literally just talking about how if you're trying to get, well, I just gave an example of like if you're trying to get a new position, but you'll get tossed around if you don't handle confrontation well.
Yeah. So I feel like so many people have this strong desire to be liked by everyone. And it personally,
just say it, bro.
as
It's
a
okay.
past people pleaser,
Yeah.
it leads you to compromise on your ideals and your beliefs.
Wow.
You will say things that you don't mean. You will fall back on things you do mean.
Oh, come
You'll
on.
double
Speak some
take.
truth,
you
man.
will compromise your beliefs if you're trying to please people.
Yeah.
I've done this countless times. I'm complete transparency. I have said things that I did not believe an inch just because I wanted to be liked. I agreed with things that I didn't agree with just because I wanted to be liked. Because that's just the social norm. These certain ideologies that just exist within the public consciousness that are just widely accepted that I don't agree with.
Yeah.
I just ran along with because I wanted to be liked by my peers.
Yeah.
And that led me to compromise on so much, and it takes its toll.
Yeah.
When you want to be liked, there's nothing that you won't do to be liked.
Yeah.
Versus if you are chasing for a better version of yourself and you're chasing after the heart of God properly, then theoretically, people will surround themselves around you who think the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're completely honest with who you are and what you believe, the people that don't like that aren't going to stick around, and the people who do like that are going to stick around.
Right.
And I'd rather be able to be 100% unapologetically myself
Yeah. Yeah.
and just be surrounded by people who appreciate that than try and morph myself in all my personalities and have like, okay, this is my friend A personality, this is my friend group B personality.
Yeah.
Just to be liked, because that's exhausting.
That's draining, dude.
Being a different person for every group
time?
of people, it's exhausting. And it's horrible.
crazy. Oh, dude, it's horrible. And seriously, guys, and especially if you're, I gotta talk to my worship leaders. I gotta talk to my people that are leading. Even if you're just leading a small group and stuff in a church or whatever it is, if you compromise certain things to stick around with a very toxic person, I don't know what you're doing.
I think that there's
It's a fine line, bro.
there's a very fine line, right? You have to really guard your heart because we're not saying it's like wrong to have friends that
Right.
aren't Christian.
Right. That's not what I'm saying.
If anything, you should seek out to have a couple friends who aren't Christian, because the goal of Christianity is to spread the gospel.
It is.
Our goal as Christians is to spread the gospel.
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
we do that through our action, through our words, and we don't even have to be like, hey, did you know Jesus loves you? But we can share the love of Jesus just through our actions.
Right.
But there's a very fine line where you have to make sure that you're trying to influence them with your actions and they're not influencing you with their actions.
That's it. That's the key.
Because if you're to a point where you're surrounding yourself with the world and you start to look like the world, that's a problem.
You're no longer reflecting Christ at that point. You're just reflecting. You're just reflecting the culture of the world.
Exactly.
And we're supposed to be separated. So
I think that's a big problem with the church right now too.
Well, that's what I was
That's a
just going to
different
say.
problem.
That's a different problem. That's a whole different probably podcast. It's going to be like a part 2 podcast where get ready, church, because I got some stuff to say. I'm a worship leader, as I've said before, and I've surrounded myself around a lot of great spiritual mentors. But as many good things as the church is doing, you guys, if you're continuing to bow down to culture and not bowing down to God, then you are making a big mistake. Big mistake. And I'm just going to tell you that right now. And you may have your opinions about that or whatever, but you know, you can really sense when a church is on fire for Jesus or when a church is just trying to, I get it, you're trying to fill up seats, but if your goal is just to fill up seats and look like the world, but never give them the true gospel, or you give them a watered down gospel, or you're not giving them you're not giving them the true Jesus, the actual Jesus, the one we're talking about the real Jesus, the one that saw what was happening in it was
in the temple marketplace.
The temple marketplace. If you don't know that story, you need to go look into it.
You need to read your Bible if you don't know that story.
Bible. You know, seriously, that's when Jesus was getting real, man. He was like, this is disgusting.
Oh yeah,
it's disgusting.
People are like, you know, Christians should be passive and gentle and nice, and we shouldn't speak in any harsh words because we don't want to hurt feelings. Have you guys read the Bible? Have you heard the things that Jesus outright said? He compared the Pharisees to Satan himself.
Bro, he did.
He went and he flipped tables. He got angry because he was passionate about God.
Yeah.
He was passionate about his Father.
Yeah.
If you're able to sit idly and watch people make fun of your God, if you're able to sit idly and preach something that is not the truth, then you're not passionate. You're not passionate about God.
You're not. Actually, it's a disgrace. You should be ashamed of yourself. Actually, you really should. And if you call yourself a Christian, if you even like, I'm talking to the people that are like the PT Christians, the part-time Christians, the ones that are like my Sunday morning faith, and then the rest of the week is just nonsense. Yeah. It's like, look, I'm talking to you right now, and this is gonna make you feel uncomfortable. It's gonna make you feel like, well, I'm still going. Congratulations. It's great. I'm glad you're going. But let me just tell you right now, if you're preaching a false gospel, if you're preaching about a false Jesus, we're talking about God in the Old Testament, New Testament. Both of them exist.
They are God.
They are God. Like, so don't try and twist scripture to have this very watered down beta version.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it like that. This beta version.
It is
of Jesus. He's the Alpha and Omega, man. Treat him like that,
dude. I think this is barely on topic. This just came in my head.
No, you're good.
I also want to apologize if I rabbit trail because I have horrible ADHD.
It's a podcast,
but I think that if you think or if you hear these words that I'm about to say and it doesn't blow your mind, then you're missing the point. The creator of the universe, God of creation, wants to know you intimately. He has more thoughts about you than there are grains of sand on the earth. You personally, the creator of literally everything. If that doesn't blow your mind, then you're missing the point.
Yeah.
It is, I think that was one of the rudest awakenings for me. Like, literally the being that could end creation with a thought wants to know me personally.
Yeah.
And he wants to be involved in every part of my life. It's mind-blowing to me.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. It's mind-blowing. It really is. And I think we'll talk about one more thing. I'll wrap it up with this, but you know, if you are a person, because here's the thing, I know that as this channel or this platform, you know, because we have all types of different social media platforms, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. When this blows up, and we're already starting to get a couple of the trolls, you know, which is fine. Glad you guys tuned in. So glad you tuned in. Keep listening to MBT because you may hate it. But bro, maybe you're getting something out of it. Maybe it's convicting you of something deep down in your soul.
Helps the interaction.
It really does help the interaction. Continue to boost us up, man. I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. By the way, continue to subscribe on YouTube. Continue to follow Instagram or TikTok, especially TikTok. Man, you guys are like the sleeper followers. You guys are the ones that like follow, but you're not following. So, you know, I've already said that at the beginning, but you guys need to follow. Here's what I want to end off with is this. I had gotten a question from somebody and they said, why should I believe in God? I said, because he literally went out of his way to die for you so that way you could have life. And they said, well, I just don't buy that. I said, well, why don't you buy this then? Let me just riddle you this. Okay.
Riddle me this, Batman.
Yeah, riddle me this, Batman. let me just tell you this real quick. Let me just say this. Would you rather believe in what most like atheists would believe is that we came from evolution, the Big Bang Theory, and all that stuff? By the way, it's just a theory. Big Bang Theory is a theory. You know, there's
And a pretty mediocre TV show.
yeah, it's okay. It's not that, you know, evolution, there's macro, micro, whatever, but, you know, whatever you want to believe in that area of evolution, evolution with its flaws gives you no hope, no future, and no end goal for your life.
Life
And
is meaningless if that's it.
it's literally, if we came from nothing, you are nothing. You have no purpose. You are nothing. And you may say, well, I have value. I have value. Okay, cool. Hold on, but there's no.
We should take that clip out of context. We should just take that one clip out of context.
I know we should.
You
We
are
should.
nothing.
You are nothing. You're nothing. Everybody's like, what? Like, I'm really offended by that. And it's like, okay, good. Seriously, with God, gives you hope, gives you a future, gives you something to look forward to. If you're the person right now that's watching the video that's like, well, I'm an atheist, and you know, I'm going to continue to be atheist. But if you're an atheist because it's something that you believe in because you don't want to follow a guideline that God has set out for you, let me just tell you, you're missing out, man. You're missing out big time, because the things of this world are temporary. What my mind is set on, what, you know, a lot of Christians' minds are set on, is eternity, not temporary. We're set on eternity. Eternity. And you have an end goal. You have a hope. You have a future. Without God, there's no hope. There's no future.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of it just stems from just hurt.
Yeah.
Like, you know, why wasn't, if there's this God of the universe that loves me so intimately, why do these bad things happen? If bad things happen and there's this benevolent being out there who only wants the best for me,
Yeah.
then there's no way.
Right.
There's no chance, because he let these things happen.
Yeah.
And it comes from this place of hurt. But
Yeah.
I get this question a lot, and I've gotten it so many times, and honestly, I don't know. I don't know why it happens. I don't know exactly why certain things happen, certain things don't. And it's just kind of part of it, I guess. I'm someone who always wants to know everything. Like,
Yeah.
I want to know the
Like a
why.
logical person.
Exactly.
That's how I am too. Yeah.
But I think the beauty of it is not knowing everything, right? If I were to know everything and why everything happens, then I'd probably just lose my mind. If I knew exactly what God's plans for the rest of my life were, I'd go crazy.
Yeah, that would be too much. That'd be like the unveiling of like the spiritual realm. Be like, what is happening right now?
Exactly.
It might actually be too much. Your brain would probably not be able to handle it at all.
Yeah, even if it's just the simple things like, why did this happen? If I knew why, you know, why God let me struggle with addiction for 6 years, I might be upset about it, or I might be really thankful for it, or I might just not understand it and it might make it worse.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Versus, I don't even know how to fully explain this concept.
Yeah.
But I think that there's grace in not knowing.
It literally, and here's the thing is, it's like, I know that there's so many, because I've watched atheist debate and things like that too. And I would encourage you guys, go look at the great debates between, you know, agnostic and a Christian, or atheist and a Christian, because the thing is that you could sit here and listen to us and you may be like, this is a bunch of just BS.
It's a hullabaloo.
Yeah, this is just ridiculous. Goodbye. I'm not going to watch your podcast. Whatever. Cool. It's fine. You don't have to believe it if you don't want to. But you have an option. You have a choice. And I think this kind of ties into our main thing that we're talking about too, was, are you doing everything you possibly can to seek after truth, health, for your mental health, and for your overall life? Are you doing everything you possibly can?
Yeah. I mean, because even theoretically, right? Let's say, just hypothetically here, that we're wrong. Let's say hypothetically there's no God of creation. There's no There's no higher being. There's nothing.
Intelligent design, you know.
There's nothing. It's just chance, right? What I gained out of it is I gained a loving community, a positive outlook on life.
Right.
I did good things for the glory of God, even if it turned out not to be real. I did good things for the glory of God. But at the end of the day, if you're wrong I'm right,
you lose everything.
you lose everything.
You lose everything.
I think that's the biggest thing. I almost see it as like, why wouldn't you?
It almost takes more faith to believe that you came from nothing than to come from a creator. And if that creator is God, and God has these guidelines for you, I'm willing to follow that to the very end. Because it's like you said, if I'm wrong, I lost nothing. I lost nothing. The empowering community around me, surrounded with love, grace, and truth. And
a fire insurance plan.
And if you're wrong, you're losing everything and much more, I think.
Oh yeah.
Which is not good.
And I think for a lot of people, it's the feeling of restriction, right? Like,
I can't do this because it says this.
I can't go off and party all night with my friends because it says, don't live a life of drunkenness and all this.
Right.
But there's a freedom in restriction. There's a freedom that comes with it because it leads you to a more fulfilling life.
Yeah.
Just because I can do these things doesn't mean I should be doing these things.
It's like the instant gratification we were talking about.
Exactly.
It's the same thing, same concept.
Like, I go to a specific adult website. I get my endorphins, I get my dopamine, and then immediately after, it's this gross sense of unfulfillment. And then that moves over into my actual relationships. It ruins my concept of intimacy and what God created. It ruins, it creates the objectification of people. Like it creates this idea of, the opposite sex is just an object to be enjoyed, because that's what it is. That's what it fosters. Versus if I abstain from that, then it'll create a more whole purpose of what intimacy is.
Yeah.
With your spouse when you get married. You're very specific.
You're much more actually likely to stay with that person for the rest of your life too, because now you have this ultimate commitment. And I think what happens a lot of times when instant gratification is all that you're seeking, you don't know how to handle long term.
Yeah, man.
You don't know how to and that may be for relationships or just everything in life. I've seen people jump from job to job. They don't know how to handle long term. You don't know how to do it. So, guys, seriously, we'll wrap it up with this. But MBT, this was kind of an awesome podcast coming out of the dark here. It's been a few months, so it was about time. We're going to be doing more. Please stay tuned, subscribe, comment, like it, share it. We are trying to get this, build this community, build a community of people that are either seeking after the truth, or maybe they're contemplating what is truth, or maybe they're contemplating just this idea of God, or this idea, if you get nothing more, if you don't agree with the God part, if you get anything out of this at all, take the principles, apply them to your lives, see how much they would change. Because I guarantee you, if you were to use a lot of the principles that we're talking about, the mental health thing, the whole entire mindset shift, you would actually begin to see a dramatic shift in your overall life. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in with the podcast. This is MBT. This is Isaac. It's my buddy, man, my drummer. We'll be back next time. We'll see you guys.